So I guess you can't see it because of the light reasons, but I'm right at home here where the Rocky Mountain Gigantopithecus, or some refer to them as Sasquatch, some refer to them as Bigfoot, right back in those mountains over there, probably right now. Anyways, we're here to talk about my Throwback Thursday video. I'm so excited to talk about this. Again, it's going to be a 1-minute video, and I had to make a list of all the things to talk about, and it's going to be a really mind-blowing show when you think about, oh my God, all the stuff that's happened, all the things that my team and I have worked for and attempted to accomplish and accomplished, and where we've been and who we've spoken to. What an incredible journey it's been. I'm just I'm so happy to be doing Throwback Thursdays, because there's a lot to be talked about that's really been forgotten. For the past 10 years, I've been conducting expeditions, documenting chronicles, and interviewing people pertaining to the subject of Sasquatch. With over 20 years worth of hardcore backcountry expedition experience into the most remote regions, I've tracked and studied various North American species that have had little to no exposure to civilization. I am a student of many disciplines, trained in the art of tracking by a Cree Nations elder and a military sniper. My skill sets include camouflage techniques using the terrain and its features to mask ground movement, survival, evasion, and escape techniques.
I've been able to see for the first time some complete segments of Todd Standing's filming of Sasquatches, and I am firmly convinced that he has filmed Sasquatches, and that what he has portrayed in his documentary are indeed very close portraits, in fact, of the Sasquatch face.
So I guess the first thing, in the video, in this following video, what was exciting for my team and I was it was 2011, and I just finished the 3rd expedition for spring, where I filmed what I called video 5 at the time. It ends up being now, it's the Jake video. So you see that in the video. I was really excited about it. I've got a funny voice that I don't know what the hell is up with that, but anyways, and the music's very dramatic, but the whole point of it is something that I think people have forgotten about. Just make sure and the other thing that happened too, so after I recorded the footage of Jake in video 5, which is probably some of my best footage ever, I think. I don't even think it's arguable. The Jake footage is just really, really incredible. I'm really, really proud of it. He's my, especially for me, it has a special place in my heart, because Jake is my favorite Sasquatch of all time, and he's gone now. So I don't know where he is, and I don't know if I'll ever see him again. So I think in my heart, logically, it's a really almost nothing chance that maybe someday, in 30 years, I'll be an old man and I'll get to see him again, or something cool. After the discovery comes forward, and maybe I'll get reunited with him. That's kind of turned out to be like a dream of mine. I could get teary-eyed thinking about it, to be honest, because I miss him, and to think that I'd be able to see him again, just what we went through, like, man, the stuff the experiences that I had with him. And when I came back after having gotten this footage, I was in such a state of shock and euphoria, pure joy and elation, and terrified and afraid all at the same time. So I hadn't met Survivor Man yet. I didn't know what I was going to do it was so hard, to be honest, after getting this footage. When I came back, I slept for 4 days straight. My wife would wake me up to feed me, and I would wake up to go to the bathroom. I was bruised and beaten up, and I'd lost 15 pounds of muscle. I went out lean and came back after having lost, significant muscle mass. I was killing myself to do these things, and I knew I couldn't do it alone anymore. And so anyways, and we'll talk about, I guess, lots to talk about next, but let's let you watch the video first, and then we'll get into the Adrian Erickson angle and the $2 million award. Where did it come from? Who did it? What the hell's happening? What happened with that? All those answers after you watch the video. We'll be right back, so enjoy this 1-minute video, and so much to explain. I can't even do it all in one video, but let's give it a try.
After years of hard work, determination, and the cooperation of enthusiasts, scientists, and wilderness experts from around the globe, the Sylvanic team has reached a new pinnacle. Results from the 3rd expedition of 2011 have yielded some of our best HD video and photographs we've ever taken. All those involved in our cooperation will receive a private email link to view the videos and photographs from our Video 5 expedition on July the 7th. Sylvanic.com is now offering a $2 million reward for absolute proof of the species that will allow us to complete our species protection legislation we began to implement in 2006. For specific details, please visit the website. We are currently looking for a primatologist that will have hands-on practical behavioral and ecological experience with chimpanzees and/or gorillas. Your identity will remain private as long as you wish, and you will be accredited with all the findings you collect after you are introduced in the field to the most man-like primate on the planet, currently residing in North America.
All right, so no bones about it. Let's be transparent. I'm just off a little road. There's going to be a vehicle going by from time to time. I am out in the mountains, but it is rush hour, so you'll hear a vehicle go by every few minutes. It's all good. I'm close to home. I just a few hours from my house, but let's get into this. So many things. So first of all, so very few people know this, but my video 4 footage, the Jane footage, Adrian Erickson actually bought that footage from me and put it in his documentary, the Erickson Project documentary. I don't know if he took it out. Adrian became a friend of mine. I really liked Adrian Erickson. I thought he was a really cool guy. And I saw his documentary. I insisted upon some changes with his documentary that I didn't like. And I just learned a lot about the Bigfoot community and stuff. And when it came out that Adrian had put some of my footage in his documentary, he took a lot of heat for it. And he actually, honestly, he walked away from me because of the heat, because he wanted to keep his documentary, you know, in the up and up with the Sasquatch community. And he was a real hero with the Sasquatch community, and I was not. I was getting a lot of flack. And he just didn't, and no disrespect to him. He spent, I don't know, probably $1 million putting together his documentary, and none of his footage was as good as mine. And when he heard the backstory and what I'd been through and met me, and then, you know, I told him I'll show you a Sasquatch, the things that I do, he really started to see the authenticity in me. That's come out with my fans over time. People that you get through the bullshit. Remember, there's 3 sides to every story, isn't there? Their side, my side, and the truth. So so it's like that with everything, and there's, you know, just try to keep that in mind with stuff. Fans of mine and you know, people that have supported me over the years, you've been through the, you know how it is. It's been hard, but anyways, so I sent that Jake footage out to my very small group of colleagues. We were all really excited, and then Adrian Erickson actually flew out. I was living in a beautiful house in Calgary at the time, and he flew out and saw the footage, and I remember he actually made a phone call to his distributor. He said, we got to get our film out fast, because Todd Standing just got footage. It's going to, you know, blow the whole lid off the Sasquatch thing. I mean, he saw it in HD, raw footage, right there. I mean, on a big screen TV. It was a real emotional moment for him and I, because he also saw the damage that I'd taken. I mean, he came, as soon as I came back, my wife at the time gave him a phone call. He flew out just a day after I was recuperated, and I looked like hell. And I told him the truth, why I looked like such hell. And he told me taught me a powerful lesson. He says, you can't keep doing this by yourself. You need help. And that's why I met Survivor Man after that, because I realized I couldn't do this without cooperation. I was going to kill myself. It was just too hard. But anyway, so the other thing that happened right away, or that had happened during this time period, is a very wealthy man heard that I was doing this Sasquatch research. He was a retired older man. He was a retired lawyer. And he told me that if I could show him a Sasquatch, he would give me a $2 million reward for anybody who would find a Sasquatch. And I guess this is I have to take you on a journey for this, because there's no quick answer to this. So after I did the species protection, and it was really big news all around the world, everybody was talking about it. It was a big deal. So, and I actually, so the species, I got signatures for species protection. They got read in the House of Commons, and they sent it to an area of the Canadian government that deals with species at risk. And they told me, you don't deal with the government anymore, or the politicians anymore. You deal with us. You bring back, and they wrote this on a piece of paper for me, you bring back a significant piece of a recently deceased body, and Canada will accept the species as real, and then we will go to our partners in the United States, like the United States and Canada, we have the same species a lot. We share a lot of things. We have, we're brothers and sisters. That's the way I feel about it. We're family. And Anyways, he said, we'll get this done in the United States before anybody even knows. We'll ratify them and accept them in Canada. We'll have it done in the United States, and then you can have your press conference about the recognition of the species. We can even study it for a couple years before we even go public. And I was like, yeah! And that was part of the deal with the $2 million reward. So if somebody had come to me and said, okay, I have a body, I found a body, they get the reward, they get all the credit for it, which is part of it, but also it had to be a recently deceased body, a significant piece of a body, but it couldn't have been shot. So the other criteria was I investigate and make sure that he didn't shoot this Sasquatch, because that was unacceptable to the person who put up the money and myself. So that was the deal. I love the secrecy of it all. I love imagining, and I still have that ability. If you have a piece of a significant piece of a Sasquatch body, please give me a call. Let's do it. I still have those contacts. Obviously, nothing precipitated, but the other really cool end of it is the older man. I mean, he was about 74, and he told me I had to show him a Sasquatch, and I'd been saving this particular plan to see a Sasquatch for a long time. And it's very simple. I'm even going to talk about it. All I did was, because I did it again in 2019, and that's one of my new pieces of footage, is what I do is I go into Sasquatch habitat, I let the Sasquatch know that I'm there, and I have a plan to go into a cave or an area like a cave or a section where I'm totally hidden. Even if the Sasquatch have ESP, which they do, the third eye spies show, and the ESP is real, guys. I always talk about it. For God's sake, it exists, it's real. Extrasensory perception is real. Sasquatch have that sensory perception on an elite level. But anyways, I believe, well, maybe I'm wrong, but at the time I thought if I went into a cave, they couldn't detect me. And but that's what I do anyways. I go let the Sasquatch see me, then I disappear into a cave and I wait there for days. And eventually, a Sasquatch comes in and pops his head in and has a look. And that happened in 2019. The footage will be coming up in my next documentary for that. There's a big announcement. Nobody knows that. That happened this year. That was the plan, and I did it. But it also happened back in 2011 with this gentleman. And I'll tell you what happened. This year it was much better. But originally in 2011, so I need to show this guy a Sasquatch. So we're in this cave-like area. And we've been there, it was 2 days over 2 days, more than 48 hours. We're sitting there and, you know, we're starving, we're cold, all that crap's going on. This is what you do for the research. This is what I used to do anyways. So the Sasquatch comes in. I tell you, we could feel he was coming. I knew he was coming. I was like, keep looking over. It was about an hour happening. But I tell you, you'll never see a being that has more patience and calm. This Sasquatch, it was like a bad dream. He just came up over the rock so slowly. And just like eyes and nose, and just had a good hard look at us. And obviously the gentleman that I was with, whose name I won't name, he's a big family, big wealthy family. But anyways, when he saw that Sasquatch, he started to cry. He started to lose his shit. He was like, I'm not gonna get into details, but it happens. I've seen it happen many times when I show people, even to this day. People have different reactions. It's very profound to them. Sometimes they're in denial. He immediately knew it was a Sasquatch. We saw a nasal flare. I mean, the Sasquatch looked at us for a time. He was there for, it felt like an hour, but it was probably just a minute or so. Blinking and nasal flare. You can see his eyes squint a little bit. And he went down just as slowly. And just when you could see just a little bit, he just gone. Like, boom, he was out of there. And I'll tell you, the gentleman that I was with said, I believe you, they're real, please take me home. Literally, like man crying, I would call it, like trying to keep his composure, yet tears are coming out of his eyes, shaking in the hands, just done. Like, just get me home alive. I'll give you anything. I remember I was like, we're okay, I'll get you out of here safe, everything's fine. I don't want to see that again. It was at night, and he wanted to leave immediately, it was coming into night, so it was a little dusky. After the Sasquatch was gone, it was night. He didn't give a shit. He was like, get me out of here now. Crying, upset, shaking, terrified, panicked. So got him out of there. And what happened is, as a lawyer, I didn't know about this, but the money was put in what's called escrow. So, because his family was very upset that he was having to deal with me, his family threatened legal action against him if he had anything to do with Sasquatch, in that Sasquatch is so paranormal and so fake and so not real that, you know, he's actually lost his senses or whatever they would say. So anyways, he put the money in escrow. I had, I think, 3 people call me, and it was just crap they gave me. It was total BS. Didn't buy it for a second. And, you know, I had this reward up for years at the very least. And then the gentleman, he did pass away, and the money went back to his family, which I'm totally cool with. Cars without mufflers, wonderful for the environment, right? So that's a $2 million reward. And that's the man who gave it. And the reason he gave it was the species protection, and he wanted the species acknowledged. He believed me. He'd seen the Sasquatch. When people put me to the test, you must understand, this is where the haters can kiss my ass. Mwah! I show people Sasquatch. That's what happened in the documentary. Don't believe Jeff Meldrum? You don't believe Jeff Meldrum? Professor of anatomy and he saw a Sasquatch in 3 days. Survivor Man had a live interaction with Sasquatch in 4 episodes and got footage of the top of the head of a Sasquatch in 1. You don't believe Survivor Man? You don't believe John Bitternagel? Now I've got dozens of expeditioners. What's the point? It's going to keep going like that, people. The footage is legit. The stuff that's happening with Sasquatch is real. And you hear these stupid little conspiracies, all these stupid little rumors. Just ask me. Hey, what about this? When you let me explain it, I'll explain it to you. It's very logical and reasonable, everything that I've done. So anyhow, thank you so much for the supporters. Thank you so much for the people that can see the forest through the trees. It's right there. Let's watch it, people. So anyways, that's what happened to him. And I talked about the process of it. I thought the process was very exciting. That process, again, it still exists. I talk about in the video about a primatologist and wanting a primatologist. I only ever got one primatologist out. She saw the size of bear scat and told me how scary bears were and said the bear scat was bigger than her dog, made an excuse to go home and left the expedition early. And that was a primatologist who'd worked with gorillas, just quit on me. The reality of that's what I work with expeditions so much. Do you understand? You're going to see grizzly bears. You're going to see black bears. They're out there. If we don't see them, we're going to see signs of them. You might see steaming scat from them. They're out here and there's no fences. They're wild. They will decide every day you're on expedition with me. I guarantee you. A mountain lion, a black bear, or a grizzly bear will pick up our scent and they will make a conscious decision to hunt and try to kill us or not. Not up to us. They make those decisions. Every single day you're on expedition with me. Whether you see them or not, most people on expeditions will see them. They're around. It's the reality of the wilderness. It's real wilderness out there, and that's what happens on expeditions. That's what the process is to get people involved in expeditions. Is I don't want them to quit. I don't want them to go home going, oh my God, there's really bears out there. It really is scary. Yeah, I know. And wait till a Sasquatch comes around. That's the scariest thing in the wilderness. They're big, giant, dominant primates that we really don't know very much about. Where's the Sasquatch expert? Not here. Not anywhere. The geese are back. Spring has really sprung. It's wonderful. So there's another thing in this video. So I'm going to do my Sasquatch Sunday video. So thank you very much for tuning into Throwback Thursdays. My live Wednesday shows are so fun. I'm going to be conducting interviews with people that have seen a Sasquatch every Tuesday. Going to call it Big Talk Tuesday. And in this video, there's a little cute. There's something in this video, just little, just tiny, and you wouldn't really notice it, that is tremendously significant to me. When I saw this little piece of video, I lost my mind because that had happened to me in real life. So on Sunday, we're going to talk about this really, really cool thing that happened to me and with the Sasquatch and the incident and everything behind it. Going to go into that in as much detail as possible. So stay tuned for Sasquatch Sundays. Thank you so much for tuning in. And our bigfootencounters@gmail.com if you've seen a Sasquatch. If you've really seen a Sasquatch, I'm warning you. I'm telling you. Big Talk Tuesdays, people, make sure you've seen a Sasquatch because I am out in the wilderness. This is my home. I take people on expeditions. I do my research in those mountains, in those trees, for real. Been backcountry for days. My expeditioners know it. I am a tracker. That's my home. I can go back out there and survive for weeks at a time. That's what I do. So if you've seen a Sasquatch and it's wilderness related, I'm going to have questions for you. And if I catch you lying, don't come on Big Talk Tuesdays. You better know what you know. You better have seen a Sasquatch. You better not be trying to get famous because I am nice and I'm very grateful for people that have seen. If you've seen one, don't worry about it. Come on the show with me. If you haven't seen one, I don't suggest you come on because I'm going to catch somebody. I can see the little cues. I can smell the BS about things. Or even when the probabilities don't add up. You can just, I don't know. I hear somebody talk about a Sasquatch story, I'm like, man, that is very unlikely to have happened. Extremely unlikely. I'm not afraid to say it. Maybe I'm wrong, but when you get 2 or 3, when you get that's a 1 in a million, and this is a 1 in a million, you get 3 1 in a millions, it didn't happen. The person's not telling the truth, because it's a very rare thing to see a Sasquatch, and the stuff that people are saying about Sasquatch, I'm smelling something, and it's not the truth. So that's what Big Talk Tuesday is. Thank you very much for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back very soon. Thanks for supporting my videos. DiscoveringBigfoot.org is my website. We'll see you soon. Take care.